What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about what countries around the world think of Canada. So today, I want to take a look at this Reddit discussion where a Canadian asked, I don't usually hear about what people think of Canada, my country. I'm curious to know what the world thinks of us. And thousands of people from all sorts of different countries all over the world have commented on this. So today, I want to take a look at some of these responses and get an understanding of what people around the world really think of Canada. So let's take a look at some of these. Starting with the first one is someone from the Netherlands. And he says, Our liberators and we love you. Wow, that's pretty good. That's starting out pretty strong here, Canada. The liberation was 80 years ago this year? Oh, yes, right. I've done a video about this a while ago where I learned about how in World War II, Canadian soldiers helped liberate the Netherlands, and the Netherlands has like these celebrations every year for Canada just for that reason. And that's really cool. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's what people from the Netherlands think of when they think of Canadians and Canada. Love and respect and gratitude. And it's hard to beat that. Okay, that's pretty darn good, Canada. Let's keep going here. The second response is from an Australian who left a meme. It's a meme. Their response is a meme. Okay, we can dissect this a bit. Canadian kids wearing shorts when it's 10 degrees Celsius out. Okay, I think that's pretty cold. Australian kids wearing jackets when it's 30 degrees Celsius out. Is 30 degrees Celsius like way hotter than 10 degrees Celsius? Or the Celsius, I don't. Anyway, I'm kind of ruining the comedy of the meme. I get it with my Americanness. but yeah, Canadians like run around in the cold with shorts. Australians are like the opposite, the complement to Canada. Is that what Australians kind of think? Like Canadians love cold, we love hot. Or maybe you don't love cold and love hot, but Canadians tolerate the cold really well and know how to deal with it. And Australians are running around in these 30 degrees Celsius lava conditions. American kids not understanding the meme because they don't know what Celsius is. No, no. I walked right into that one. Okay. That's good. That's okay. Fine. You got me. Red-handed. Very true. Anyway, so that is that what Australians think when they think of Canada? Like it's cold and in Australia it's hot. And okay, that's fun. Next is from someone from Finland. Oh, okay. Canadians seem nice, like nice, reasonable people, but turn into US like loud monsters when hockey is on. It's like, what? But turn into US. Canadians are nice and polite, reasonable people, but become like the United States, like loud monsters. Is that? I take a little offense to that. This is not supposed to be some kind of like discussion ripping on America, but it's like so when you talk about anything, somehow annoying Americans get dragged into it. Okay, you turn into the U.S. like loud monsters that we are when hockey is on. That's fun. That's fair. This Canadian even responded under that, saying, "That's fair." And I know Canadians like love hockey, Maybe that's a stereotype. I think there's a lot of truth to it. Hockey is big in Canada, and yeah, it's a pretty violent sport, right? Like, I did a video where I looked at some clips, and hockey is like much more intense, athletic, and violent than I ever realized. And it's kind of a compliment to be a hockey player and be compared to a loud giant monster. Actually, I would think. Okay. Oh, this is deleted. Where are they from? I think this is from an American. This is what Americans think of Canada? Because I already know what we think of Canada. But anyway, this American says, they're like our sibling that always does good and gets straight A's. That's a good, I've not heard that analogy before. That's funny. It's a compliment. Um, I don't know if Canadians would particularly enjoy being compared to our sibling, uh, because Canada, one of the things I've learned is that Canada and Canadian culture is in many ways very different from American culture. So maybe call us siblings, maybe not, but we definitely have that relationship where we are similar in many ways as well. And Canada is known for being, in this example, perhaps smarter and definitely like being more polite and well mannered, behaved, and the getting straight A's. It's like we're kind of admitting that we are the class clown, like certainly not getting straight A's. Um, yeah, but the U.S. is like the shithead brother now that may have caused irreversible damage to our relationship, and I don't blame Canada for going limited contact for us. This analogy is getting a little too like real for this is supposed to be like kind of a lighthearted discussion here, but it's true. If we carry the analogy of being siblings, it's like we're the horrible brother who has broken the family relationship and you don't show up to Thanksgiving at our house anymore for good reason. Um, Next is an Australian again. Economic comparison country. Our economies are very close in most respect. Is that what Australians think of Canada as well? Like the countries are similar in. Do you have a similar population? A similar economy? Like similar GDP and stuff? I didn't know that you could like compare Australia and Canada in that way. Cold Australia. That's what Australians lovingly refer to Canada as, Cold Australia. Who knew? All right, let's keep going. Mexico says, good trading partner. That's a good thing to be known for. And I think very true with some of the like trade agreements that like the U.S., Mexico, and Canada are in, but that the U.S. kind of violated. And anyway, not to get into that too much. Canada likes, or Mexico likes Canada as a trading partner. That's good. Very formal. South Korea says Canada is considered a nice place in Korea, generally a very safe place with a decent infrastructure. We aren't exactly familiar with Canadian culture or Canadian society. Many Canadians come to South Korea to work as English teachers? Really? Because here in the US, it's very uncommon. It would be very weird to hear about somebody moving to another country, let alone South Korea. That's pretty cool though. I hear South Korea is like very technologically advanced, very cool society. I remember having a Canadian English teacher in middle school, and he was a super nice guy. He alone probably improved my views towards Canada. Cool. I mean, yeah, you don't want to generalize, but like, if that's the only Canadian person you've ever met in your life, you're gonna base some assumptions off them, and he's a nice guy. That's good. The United States of America says, sorry. No, no, I'm sorry. Very Canadian response. But the US. That's maybe too little too late at this point. Sorry, that's all we can say. Um, Oh, there's quite a few American responses here. I don't want to dive in these too much because it's like, what does America think of Canada historically? That you guys are very polite, well mannered, similar to the United States in a lot of respects, good trading partner, great country to have, like bordering ours. And other than that, Americans don't really think about other countries much at all. So the fact that Canada even has a reputation for Americans, that we think of you at all, as egotistical as that sounds, it's kind of like a compliment in a weird way. You guys have that reputation here. Canada is like the nice house down the street you like to spend time in because your parents are going through a nasty divorce. What's with all these analogies? Is that American? It's funny you say it. This is a Canadian saying. It's funny you say that. I like to say that. American people are like kids caught in the middle of a divorce. It's just funny how we're so many analogies in this discussion. Okay. Japan says Canada. I think of maple syrup and bears. That's it? That's what you think of. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even mention, like in America, when we think of Canada, there's the real stereotypical things like maple syrup and moose and plaid, lumberjacks, cold igloos. That's, yes, certainly, that kind of thing. Japanese think of syrup and bears. They said, sorry, I can't think of other things that are Canadian. There's been a huge increase in fatal bear attacks in my country. Oh my God. So bears are on my mind. It's okay. Random Japanese Redditor. It's okay. You don't have to like apologize for killer bears attacks. Like, take care of yourself. Geez, that took a strange turn. This is an Australian saying, we're very close historically. We view Canada almost like a sibling, almost similar to New Zealand. I didn't realize there was like any relationship between Canada and Australia, like in any of these ways. That's actually really interesting to hear about. You guys are the only country who are Senate approved the export of the over the horizon radar system. Wow. So there's a lot of trust. This is South Korea, Canada, 2025 World Series winners. Who? Right. Oh, that's right. Wasn't the World Series even held in Toronto? Huh. Is this South Korea who says that? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. France says our distant cousins. That's right. That's freaking right. Because of the big French culture in Canada. I forgot about all that. Canada responded saying, I like to think of you guys as our deadbeat dad. Canadians, you're supposed to be these sweet, nice people. What is this? Only a deadbeat because our English mom divorced him in a messy divorce, and tried to make us forget about him. What's with these weird analogies? France is like Canada's deadbeat divorced dad? All right. I don't know if this speaks for every Canadian person, but that's what these people are saying. France just says our distant cousin's heart. And that's right, because there is like that huge French culture and influence in Canada. Huge part of it, that's right. This is another US one, US one. Are there only US? Australia. What if Australia was covered in ice? Then it would be Canada? It is good. This is from an anonymous deleted no idea. This is probably just a good representation of what the planet Earth thinks of Canada. It's not often I feel like I can speak for the planet. But as the temporary spokesperson of the Earth, I would say most of my subjects agree. Canada, it is good. I would think most agree. Armenia. One of the best countries with good people, good education, good healthcare, amazing nature. One negative thing is the cold weather. Yeah, I think the cold thing turns off a lot of Americans too, although we overblow it. Um, a lot of Americans, even myself when I was younger, think Canada is always cold. All of Canada is permanently snowing, winter, which I know now is not true and kind of embarrassing. Um, Armenia, that's cool. Oh, yeah, I don't hear from them very much. They have an extremely positive opinion of Canada. We like our cold, says Canada. Okay. US, a lot of Americans here giving our opinions. Netherlands, love the country, adore the people, helped us in World War II. Yep. Puerto Rico, polite and more stylish than Americans. What? Style it. We're bringing style? Okay. I'm not at all surprised to see some countries making the comparison. It's inevitable between the US and Canada, but it's mostly it just ends up with like, we like Canada better. You're more polite. You're more stylish? Huh, maybe. Not as stylish as us, though, in Puerto Rico. Okay. Bulgaria. Generally, we have positive opinions about Canada. You guys are cool. You guys don't get any flack and are generally viewed positively. Most people's first association when they hear Canada is polar bears, Eskimos, Klondike. Klondike bars, like the ice cream. um, it's funny, no matter where you go, even in Bulgaria, or a lot of the generalizations and thoughts about Canada are generally the similar all over the world, which is says I don't know if Canadians find it annoying when a lot of us just say, "Oh, maple syrup and igloos with moose drinking from the bottle of syrup." I don't know if you think that's annoying, but along with that is always the Canadians are great, nice, smart, polite people that are very likable. And it feels like a lot of the countries in the world agree. New Zealand. New Zealand is Canada. Australia is America? I have never heard that before. How's Australia feel about that? How dare you? We threw our Timu Trump in the bin, thank you very much. New Zealand is like the Canada of Australia. That so New Zealand, that's a compliment. New Zealand wants to be like Canada. California Republic? What is that? Patient, very patient? Like patient with the US? Is that what that's saying? Probably. Friendly, peaceful, good guy. Egypt says, I am fascinated by there's such an air of mystery outside of Toronto and Montreal. Sure. So we're kind of saying in Canada, especially if I guess if you like travel to Canada, most people go to Toronto, like how most people go to New York here or LA and don't really know about the rest of the country. In Canada, there's like an air of mystery. Like, what's going on in Saskatchewan? What are you doing there? What do you guys do? What? What's it? What's Alberta? What is that? We don't know. Yeah. Scotland says, Canadians are good cunts. We respect them. Is that like in an endearing way? Thank you. Surprisingly high praise. Sorry for the language, but I think that's a compliment in this situation. Russia says, from a Russian perspective, Canada is the most mysterious country in the West. Ooh, it's kind of fun to be mysterious, especially considering that Canada shares a contingent with the US. We Russians know a lot about the US, and the US is in the media. It's as if Canada doesn't exist. So Russia just does not hear about Canada very much. That's what I'm getting here. Which doesn't like shock me. I know the US is in the news a lot, and a lot of negative news at that. And Canada maybe gets overshadowed in that respect, or we're talking about Russia. Like, who knows what Russia like what their news is or why, like what they're hearing about Canada. Apparently, not much. Anyway, that was really fun. Really interesting. It's cool. These are just like individual anecdotes, not representative of the entire country, but it's cool to hear from people all over the world, like talking about what they think of Canada. Gives you some idea of what people think, and I think people think very highly of Canada. That's the sort of takeaway here. Some stereotypical things that we think of here in America as well, but just a lot of positive sort of praise in general. So, yeah, Canada, I would be very pleased about this, very pleased. So, this was cool to hear about. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on what countries around the world think of Canada. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and seeing Canadian things I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.